Welcome to Paulstoolbox. Today I'm going to cover adding lighting to these cabinets that I built. I have glass doors on there and I want to add a nice light to enhance the inside. So I went down to Home Depot yesterday and I picked out some lights that I like. This is just an indoor-outdoor rope light and it's LED. It was $30 for 18 feet of it. When I took the fur downs out in order to put these cabinets in here, I took my wiring from the back here that went into the cabinet and I had a light inside of there that shined down. Well, I moved my wiring over and it's in the wall over here, and we're going to put an outlet in there because those lights need a plug. They're not hardwired. Okay, what I did was I took a drill bit and drilled a hole in the top of the cabinet right here. So now my plug is up here and I can just run my lighting through this into here. I drilled another hole and then a hole up here. When you first look at this, you think to yourself, that's not good. You're going to see this wire here, but you're not. I'm putting crown molding across the face of here that's going to hide that, and then I'm going to have crown molding right here on the top of this crown. So this is going to go here, and then I'm going to have crown that wraps around here. It'll completely hide this hole. I'm trying to make this hole as close to the front as I can so you don't really see it on the inside. But I had to have it back 2 inches for the center of this hole in order for the crown to hide the hole. Now I took my rope lighting and there's little clips right here. I bought a pack of them, or a couple of packs of them, and these are little clips that'll hold a 1/2 inch tubing. So the original ones, I just threw them away. It comes with some that you can screw on there, but they're really junk. They broke. This one broke as soon as I tried to push it on there, and I said I'm not going to use that. I'm using a 1-inch hole saw to drill my holes because I needed something big enough to accept my cord. Make sure you have a bit that's larger, a little bit larger than the end of your cord, so you can feed it through. You don't want to have a giant hole. Try to keep it to the minimum size that you can use. Here's a close-up of the screws. This is a box of lath screws. They're made to screw into wood, and they have a pan head on them. They're 1/2 inch long. I don't want them to come through the other side. That's why I'm using 1/2 inch ones. This right here is going to take up about 1/8 of an inch, and they're a 1/2 inch. I'm going through 1/2 inch plywood, so it's not going to protrude through the other side. Even if it did on the top, it wouldn't be a problem. But these clamps are great because you just stick the line right in there, and you put your screw on and you screw it up, and it's going to tighten them up real well. The clamps are called cable clamps, and they were like $1 or something for a bag of them. Here's the cable clamp. I'm going to slip it on, pull it up tight right behind my rail, and I'm going to get one close right here to pull it up tight and snug it right from the beginning of my cabinet. This is real quick. It doesn't take long at all to do this. All right, I'll take my next screw and run another one in there. Snug this up. Before I get to this end one and snug it up there, I want to drill my hole right here where I need to go with it. So I'm going right to the top of this, right under it, and I'm going to go 2 inches back, just like I did on the other side, to the center. So let's make sure. Yep, 2 inches back. You may have to put it in a little bit of a different spot than I do because of the size of your crown and the height of your center cabinet. But my cabinet right here sticks out 3 inches past this, so my crown will go right up to the edge of it. And I'm about 4 inches, I think, above it. I just put it to a height that I liked. I'm 4.5 inches above it. So it's going to really work out fine. Let me go ahead and get my drill and knock that puppy out. All right. I'll take my line and just feed it through this into my next cabinet. You want to drill a hole down now so this wire can feed right into the top of the cabinet. And like I said, I want to get as close to this rail as I can, just behind it. So I'm going to go from up top and drill a hole straight down. I'm stopping here. My pilot hole is sticking through right here. This makes a pilot hole. So I can come back from this end and get a really clean cut and go up with it. So set it here. Now I'll have a really clean cut from the inside. So when you're looking with the door open, it doesn't look bad. You can take this and feed it down that hole. Go into our last cabinet. That's all there is to it. Simple stuff. Just like the other side, when I get to this part, I'm going to go ahead and drill my hole first and then put my last clamp on there. That way I can work the wire. We're ready to go ahead and put the plug in. I'm not going to put it in the wall because I have some pipes back here and I have a wire on this side and I don't want to cut it that close. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it to the back of the cabinet because it's going to pass code as long as it's in a box and it's all closed in. You have the cover on it and all. You won't see this because I'm going to have crown molding around it. So you'll take your 3 wires, and before you start playing with it, I just did this and made sure everything was off, so I'm grabbing it. But before you start any of this, you will turn your breaker off, go into this, and then I have a light switch down below under my cabinet. I'll make sure that's off. Now I will check my neutral against my hot. And I have nothing. This is my ground, this is my neutral, the black is your hot. If you touch this hot on the other side on the neutral or the ground and you don't have anything, no movement at all on this, it should light up and you'll feel it kind of vibrate. There's all kind of testers, but that's what this one does, and it tells you how many volts are going through it. Nothing's there, so we're good. I'm going to take these and twist them together so I can feed them in the box easily. Right here, you have a little tab. This tab you push in, you have to kind of break it loose. It's a tiny piece of plastic right at the very bottom of this. You can take a screwdriver or anything, shove in there, force it upward. That way you have a little room to work. You take this and you shove it in, and you see how that flap goes inward. It's going to keep the wire from coming out once you get it in there all the way. So we're going to feed this in. I'm going to get all the way down to the Romex part. Now I can take and cut this a little shorter because I don't need it this long. I need to jam these wires back in that box after I'm finished. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it, and I'm going to use 1/2-inch panhead screws because that's all I need. I just need to go into the back of the cabinet through this, and that's what I have right here. I want it raised up a little bit because I don't want to have it totally against the cabinet where I can't get the plate on. Now the plate will slip on there and I won't have it in the way. So I'm going to run 2 screws in that. Okay, now we have all this together. I can take these wires and cut them back. I don't need them real long. That's plenty for me. I might cut this one after I loop it on there. On your regular outlet, you'll have a gold and a white side. The part that's silver, or a silver side. The part that's silver will go on the neutral, the white. The part that's gold goes on the black. The ground goes right here on the green, which is ground. Very simple to work with. And I always get the better plug. This is only a couple of dollars. Spend a couple of dollars. Don't get a 68-cent one because they're UL tested, but I don't like them. they burn up easily, and they don't have large areas to shove this into the back. You want to have something where you can push it in a hole and then tighten it. You don't have to wrap it around there. And some of them just push in a hole and lock. I don't like those. You want to have it to where it slips in the hole and you tighten it up with the screw. That way it doesn't loosen up, because those ones that are just clipped on in there, after a while from this wire expanding and contracting from using it, once it gets hot, it'll expand a little bit. When it cools off, it contracts. It's a tiny amount, but if it keeps doing that over years, those clips will release and get loose, and then you'll have a problem. You'll have a short. So go ahead and get the ones with the screws that mount to the hole right here. All right, enough talk. I'm going to loosen these up, and then we'll strip our wire, which will only take a second. I cheat. I have these strippers here that you just clamp on there and strip, so I don't have to use my any kind of pliers or dikes, anything like that to use to strip it with. I can just use this. And it has a little number on there. This is 12 gauge wire, so I'm going to put it on the 12. Pops it right off. Same here. You set it down where it is on the 12, and it pops it right off. Now, I take my black, like I said, put it on the copper side or the gold looking side. Once I shove it in the hole there, I'll tighten it up real good. Make sure that all your screws on that side are tight. You don't want to have some sticking out. I like plastic boxes. I don't like to use the metal boxes, because if it moves and touches the side of this box, the live wire, it will short out and spark or possibly catch fire. So if I'm working on a house that has a metal box, I usually take my tape and wrap it around the back side of this to cover these, just in case it moves or gets loose from here. When people are pulling it and all with the plug, it can move a little bit, touch the side of that, and pop, it'll short. All right, let's go ahead and knock this one out. I don't need it quite that long. I'm going to snip it just a little bit. I would need it longer if I'm wrapping around the screw, but since I'm just putting it in a slot, I don't need it that long. I don't want it sticking out. So we'll get it all the way in there. Hold it tight, and then make sure you get this screw good and tight. Don't over tighten it, just get it good and tight. All right. All she wrote. Take this. I'll leave it long for this reason. I can take it and loop it around. Once I twist it around, and I twist it the same way the screw is going to go in, clockwise. That way it doesn't pull the wire off when you tighten it up. So I have it there. I'll snug it up good and snug, and then the excess I just cut off. All right, that's it. We stuff it back in this box, and we'll have our plug ready. We'll give her a test. Take my Mega Pro screwdriver. Got a ratchet on here. All right, same here. Good and snug on there. Now I'll put my cover on. Back of here I have all my tips. I'm going to get a flathead tip. Put my other one back. This thing's fantastic. Now I'll just take my plug and slip it in. It's got a safety feature on it, so got to get just right. Okay. This is going to stay down low. Well, let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah. I put little recommendations in my description box down below, so you may want to check that out. ovisonline.com is one of the links that I put in there. That's where I get a lot of my hardware from, for my cabinets. It's a great company. ProTradeCraft.com. You want to check out that website because it shows other professionals other than me that have different tips that really come in handy. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out Paulstoolbox.com for all my archived videos, and you will see new videos coming up on here. I'm going to show you step by step how I convert this kitchen on a budget. If you found this useful, hit like for me, and I'll see you on the next project.